When the forests are cut, there is a tendency for the root systems, of course, to decompose. And eventually that structure which holds the soil together will fall apart. And if you're in a very high rainfall area or areas with steep slopes or areas with rather unstable soils, then you'll have a much greater tendency to have slumps in managed forests than you would in the old-growth forest, although slumps do, of course, occur in old-growth forests. Roads associated with managed forests are also an important source of the erosion problem.
The public lands are mostly the mountainous areas, where landslides and erosion pose the most critical threat. In these mountains are the headwaters of the region's rivers. These are the waters that give birth to another precious resource of the region, the Pacific salmon. Jim Hatton is a fisheries biologist for the Hoh Indian tribe.
Basically, this creek was pristine about 30 years ago, and it just had towering old-growth trees all up and down it. And about 30 years ago, Department of Natural Resources started to enter into this basin, along with all the upper Hoh River basin, and they started systematically harvesting these river basins. In the last 20 years, there's been a large increase in landslides that's occurred. When the trees are cut, after about 10 years, the roots begin to rot out of the soil. And it's very steep topography up in these upper watersheds. So if you add a lot of water to a large clear cut, and you have an angle of above about 50%, you start to get landslides. Well, these landslides begin to form what we call debris torrents, where they actually will go down and enter a channel. And at that point, they begin to pick up all the logging slash that you see all around you. So you get a wall of mud, logging slash, and water all moving down this channel at one time. This scouring of the channel is what leads to a demise and degradation of our fish habitat. And when that happens, the bedrock is exposed. You lose your shade because the debris torrents bust down all the trees around the creek, and you get a large increase in direct sunlight coming down into that creek. I've got a thermograph in Split Creek. We found by monitoring it for the last 3 years, commonly gets in the upper 60s or even as much as 75 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer. If you increase stream temperatures above about 68 degrees Fahrenheit, you can actually begin to get mortality in salmon.
Another impact of roads is siltation. Rain washes the loosened soil downstream. The silt settles on the gravel where salmon lay eggs, choking out their life. When rain falls in an old-growth forest, the thick forest floor absorbs and stores it, releasing it slowly into the streams.
This is what we call an old-growth stream. It's got many of the features that have been damaged or destroyed at Split Creek. It's got very cold water. It's got very clean water. It's just sparkling clear. It has lush green vegetation all up along the banks. It has lots of what we call large organic debris that spans the creek and is in the creek. And this large organic debris causes a lot of pools to be formed. Small juveniles like to rear and grow in those pools.